Flavion Carvello. She is a server and a manager at the Mr. Potato restaurant that is in Orlando, Florida. On New Year's Day, 2021, she was having a usual, reasonably normal shift. But just before midnight, there was a family that came in, and there was a little boy and looks like a little younger sister with them. She went over to take the parents and the children's order.
The waitress first noticed the 11-year-old boy was in danger when food was ordered for his parents and little sister, but not him. She says he wasn't talking or playing at the restaurant table like the rest of his family, and he had bruises.
So the waitress walks off, but she's kind of discreetly studying the little boy and his overall appearance. He was very, very thin, and he had some scratches on his face. And then she noticed that on the edges of his shirt, there was some bruising that was kind of, you could see, peeking out from under the collar and the sleeves of his hoodie. Now, he was wearing a mask and long sleeves, so most everything was hidden, but still the waitress felt like in her gut that something just wasn't right. And so the more the waitress observed the family as they were having their dinner and the little boy was just sitting there.
Order came to the table, I observed that the boy was denied food. It was the first thing that got my attention. I stepped in and asked if was something wrong with the order because the food for the boy was missing. And Dad, the man, told me that no, that was everything okay, and the boy was okay, and he was is gonna have his dinner at the night at home.
She said he was just super quiet, and just overall he just appeared very sad. So she felt like she needed to find out if he was okay. She knew she was gonna have to do it to where the parents wouldn't notice that she was thinking anything like that. So that's when she decided to use some signs and write him some messages. Now on the first sign she wrote, in all capital letters, she says, "Are you okay?" And she held that sign up behind the parents so that he could see it, but the parents couldn't. And reading the sign, the little boy just nodded yes. And he looked back down. Okay, she knew that that really didn't appear to be true. I mean, it was pretty obvious from what she was observing. So she held up a second sign, and this one read, "Do you need help?" And to this sign, the little boy nodded yes. So she immediately went to the back and she called the police.
Do you need the police or the paramedics, sir?
I don't know. I need you. I don't know what to do. I'm a manager of a restaurant, and we have some customers here with 2 kids. One of the kids is with a lot of bruises on his arms and on his face.
Okay.
And the parent is not done giving food for him, but is giving to the another kids that are with them. And the one is so quiet, and I asked him on a paper if he needs help. And first he turned his head saying that no, but he kept looking at me, and I write in another paper if he needs help again. And he make me a sign that yes, he needs help. So I don't know what to do.
Okay, so are they at the restaurant right now?
Yes.
Okay, what's the name of the place?
It's Mrs. Potato Restaurant.
Mrs. Potato Restaurant?
Mrs. Potato, uh-huh.
All right, and the family that's there, is it, how old is the child, first of all? How old does he look to you?
About 8 years old. It's a couple with 2 kids, a little girl and the boy. The boy is the one that our parents is in trouble. I'm super concerned, and I don't know what to do. Can you give me some advice what I can do?
Well, I can send the police over there. You're just gonna. Only thing is, they have to be there. The police has to be able to see them when they get there, so they can talk to the child. It's the only thing we can say. What's your name? I'm going to go ahead and send the police over to you. We're asking everybody that's meeting with the officers if you've had the flu, any flu-like symptoms, or had contact with somebody that has recently.
No.
Okay. Also, how many people did you say were there in total again? I'm sorry?
It's a family of 4, 2 kids and 2 adults. One
Family of
kid
4,
about-
so 2 kids and 2 adults?
Yes.
Okay. And the other kids are being treated fairly from what it looks like?
I'm sorry?
The other kids look like they're being treated fairly?
No, just the boy is with bruises and he's not eating. The others are eating. And when we get their orders, we ask what the boy is going to eat. And the father, the man said, no, he's not going to eat anything. He's going to have his dinner at home. And the 3 is eating, and the boy is separate from them, and they give anything to him.
Okay. All right. Well, just keep an eye on them. Of course, you can't stop them from leaving or anything, but I will let the police will come out there as soon as possible. Just call us back if anything changes before they leave. Just to confirm, also, do you see any weapons on anybody?
No.
Okay. Did you ever see him being assaulted in any way or anything like that, or no?
No.
Okay, got it. All right, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
The Orlando police arrived real shortly after. They almost immediately separated the children from the parents, and they took the boy outside to talk to him. And at first, the little boy was trying to tell the officers that the bruises were just from accidents. He said his facial bruises were because he had fell out of bed, and the one on his arms was from wrestling with his stepfather. Well, the police knew that this probably wasn't true and that the little boy needed some medical attention. I mean, it was obvious from looking at him. So they got him to the hospital, and when the doctors started examining him, the extent of his injuries were brought completely to light. Bruises and scratch marks covered the entire side of his face. His arms were so bruised that it hurt him just to roll up his little sleeves.
The boy told detectives his parents wouldn't feed him as punishment.
For the parents, Santa had suggested that he be punished. He was handcuffed to a furniture dolly with his hands behind his back. He had ratchet straps around his ankles and was made to set himself free. As far as the incident with the hanging, he was unable to do a handstand and was tied up by his ankles to the door and was hung there with the ratchet straps.
Aaron Lawler, who is the Orlando Police Department detective, said that abuse was a light word for what his stepfather was doing to him. In reality, torture would probably describe it better. This little boy was 20 pounds underweight, because his parents were actually withholding food from him. His parents had been hanging him from his ankles in a doorway in their home. His stepfather had beat him with his fist or with other items like back scratchers and even a broomstick. They had also handcuffed him to a large moving dolly. They've used excessive exercise as punishment, forcing this little boy to hold a plank for 30 minutes. When he couldn't do it, they would beat him. The boy told the police the abuse had started around Christmas time. Apparently, Santa said he needed to be punished. His parents handcuffed him to the furniture, and he had to figure out how to set his own self free. The night the waitress called the police, they charged the stepfather, Timothy Wilson II, on charges of child abuse and neglect.
His stepdad, Timothy Wilson here, charged with aggravated child abuse. His mom, Kristen Swan, is charged with neglect. Police say she knew the abuse was happening.
But she told the police she knew about it and did nothing. They arrested her on January the 6th for child neglect.
The parents accused of beating and starving him conspired to get him back, according to prosecutors. Timothy Wilson too called Kristen Swan from jail January 21st, according to court records. He told her he had a great defense and, if their stories matched, they could clear their names by showing their son has a history of telling lies. Later told Swan he would make up S if that's what it took to get her kids back, prosecutors wrote in a recent court filing.
The stepfather has since had further charges pressed on him. The
New details have emerged since the couple's arrest in early January, prompting the state to press additional charges against Wilson and Swan and persuade a judge to increase their bond and prevent the two from communicating. A broken arm and a black eye, and was about 25 pounds underweight when he was assessed at Arnold Palmer Hospital following the initial call to police, records show. He told investigators the longest he was forced to go without food was 3 to 4 days. If I don't do something I was supposed to do, I have to do the exercises, and I don't get to eat anything all day, the 11-year-old said. If I do things right, I get to eat and not do exercises. On the days without food, his parents would come into his room at night to make sure he hadn't snuck in any food or drink, he said. The boy said Wilson told him he placed spy cameras in the rooms of their house to monitor him. The boy said he was forced to complete repetitions of military-style exercises 4 to 5 days a week. Squats, push-ups, mountain climbers, push-up planks, and toe lifts. If he couldn't, he said he'd be punished for that too. Wilson had hung the boy upside down by his ankles using green ratchet straps for about 20 minutes in late December after he was unable to hold a handstand, the boy said. Only his fingers touched the floor. Recorded numerous injuries on the boy in the areas he said he was hit, handcuffed or tied down, and made to escape. Repeated trauma to his head could result in permanent brain injury and mental health issues.
The Orlando Police Department chief said that that child was destined to be killed. That's how severe the injuries were. That's how horrific the recollection of the abuse that this child shared with us was. The boy's 4-year-old little sister showed no signs of being abused herself. The Florida Department of Children and Families removed both of the children from their home and put them in protective care. While many people are praising the waitress for her actions, she says that this little boy is the real hero. He was very brave to even respond to her messages at all, let alone open up to the police about what was really going on. She said,
Many call her a hero, but that's not how she feels. She said it was God who sat the family at the only table in the restaurant where she could communicate without the parents knowing. It was God who led her into work that night to cover a coworker's shift. And it was her coworkers who delayed in bringing the family their check so they wouldn't leave before the police arrived. But most importantly, she said, it was the boy who asked for help. The hero is him, it's the boy, Carvalho said. He was strong enough to ask for help to get out of the situation. With his actions, he saved his sister. To me, he is the hero.
I would love to give him a big, big hug and tell him that I am so proud of him. This just goes to show, always, see something, say something. So many times when people just don't want to get involved, it's not their business. Horrific things can come after the fact. Always remember, see something, say something, no matter how small you think it is. It could mean the difference between life and death. Thank you all so much for listening, and until next time, this is Unjustified.